things.
I went up to London to bid for some work, recommended by somebody else. And it's interesting, really, because we were told it was informal. No need to prepare anything much. It was just an informal chat to see how we got on, and just a chat, really. Anyway, we're not like that. And we did our research, and we prepared, our thoughts, our ideas for what we'd do to help them with their 2 projects. And I got up there. The interview was supposed to be a relaxed chat, but it turned out to be a grilling by 3 people. And the only room that was free, because I obviously hadn't booked it in time, was effectively a cupboard room full of boxes, rickety table and chairs, most disgusting tap water, don't know where that came from, and a temperature in the room that was almost unbearable. I mean, it was hot. Anyway, I was my usual charming self and held my own and ran through everything, and they challenged me a few times, and I was actually quite good, really, because I just said what came, really. It was quite spontaneous, rather than following a script. And but I'm presented with an interesting. I suppose I came away thinking, if that's all you think, not of me personally, because obviously you didn't know me, but if that's all you think of an agency coming to bid, that you put them in such unpleasant and stifling conditions, then I'm not sure what that says about you. And I came away and I thought, this is interesting, because the businesswoman in me thinks, well, if we get it, let's go with it. I mean, it's not bad money, and it's the sort of stuff that we do for a living. But everything in me, all my gut instincts, the feeling, the sense of what I picked up of them, everything is screaming at me, saying, no, don't do it. Don't work with them. Just didn't feel right. It was really tough, actually. I found it, I was wrung out at the end of it. Partly because the heat of the room. Halfway through I had to say, is there any way... There were no windows, by the way, in this place either. I had to say, is there any way we can open a door or do something? Because I'm actually finding it, impossible. And the other thing I was pleased about, at the end I spoke my mind, because I stood up and I said to them, I do hope the other 2 agencies are interviewed under the same conditions that you've interviewed me. I said, because it has been very tough. The physical conditions have been really quite tough, and it's very oppressive in this room. And they went, oh?
So they weren't even aware of it?
No. They were aware of the heat. One of them was aware of the heat, sitting next to me. She said, oh yes, open the door, for God's sake, I'm dying. But it didn't come from her. It came from me to ask for the door. They weren't even aware of it. And they were very aggressive. He was very bullish. There was no warmth. The one next to me, the chair, a bit of warmth came out of her, and I felt we connected a bit. The other 2, I just felt... Oh, do you know what I felt? I came out there and I thought, thank you for me. It was almost like, oh, thank you for who I am, and thank you for just the way I am and the way I see things, and I know, God knows, you know, I'm very hard on myself and I'm full of faults and all of it. But I came out and I said to this when I phoned her up on the train. I said, you know, I just came out of there and just thought, oh, thank you for being me and not being like them.
So you came away feeling blessed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Came away from there feeling blessed because you looked and you saw and you kind of peered in and saw a world there that you didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but I was wrung out.
You were wrung out. Now, what was that all about? See, if what is when we say something is wrung out, what do we mean by that?
Well, I mean, I think before any sort of bid or interview scenario, 21st century word, I mean, I get nervous.
Obviously, yeah.
Not like I used to, because I suppose I feel much more confident. And I now feel, Philip, that people want to work with me because they sense that I've got the expertise and they like me, then that's great. If they don't, then that's great as well. Because gone are the days where you try and shoehorn people into doing PR because you need the money.
You say gone are the days of that.
It used to be like that.
Used to be like that.
I'd take anything.
Right. Yes, I understand that. This business of...
That didn't answer the question, I know.
Sorry?
That didn't answer the question you asked me about being rung out.
But it might answer the question if that is not totally the case, you see. If because you said, you know, the businesswoman in you was saying, take it. If we get offered it, we'll take it. The money's good, it's okay.
No, I haven't said if we're offered it, we'll take it. Oh, the businesswoman in me.
Yes, that's what I said, the businesswoman in you. You said the businesswoman in me would thought if we're offered it, we'll take it because there's money in it. And it's quite good money, so we'll take it.
But the other...
But everything screamed...
Yes.
Don't do it. It doesn't feel right, you know. It really doesn't feel right.
And that's the side that's winning.
Yes.
Nobody used to. You see, that's what balance has tipped. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
So, no, that's okay. Maybe I'm interrupting. But what is it... So how big a place does that other side have there, you see? The businesswoman that says...
Quite a small place, actually, now. I recognise that. I recognise that, you know, like any company, we're doing okay, we're staying afloat, and we pay the bill. But more revenue would be good. It would mean I could up these hours, which would get her more involved in the company. So from that point of view, it would be very positive. But I said, she and I had a chat about it yesterday, and I said, you know, because she said, oh, let's just go with it. And I said, well, no, I'm not prepared to just go with it. I said, because I came out of that meeting, as I told you, and it doesn't feel right. And it doesn't feel right on a number of fronts. And I told her, you know, why it didn't feel right. And I said, you know, I would rather go hungry than work on that project as I see it at the moment. And she looked at me and said,
didn't understand.
No. And I said, it's going to, you know, I gel with most people. And most people, I can somehow find you know, you work away in that sort of bid interview setup. You try and find a way of almost bridging the gap to try and reach them, to sort of talk their language, to sort of get underneath their skin and show your humanity a bit as well. And
so you're coming at it from a communication point, isn't it? Person to person. See?
Yes, that's how. Yes, rather than these are my skills. It was much more. This is me. This is my business, and this is how we do it.
So
I never used to.
No, of course not. But it's like when we've talked before about this development, we've talked, and it kind of what seemed to come out of those things was that the idea of wanting to work in a new way.
Yes.
In a way that's not like the old way, which is just about the business and presentation, where people are not really part of that setup, you know. It's like when I had to go to the hospital. I went there, and the nurse there and the specialist were very professional. The nurse was very, very nervous with me. I mean, really nervous. Chrissy was with me. She said, "Oh, gosh, she's so nervous, isn't she, with you?" She was so nervous, you know. But overcame that with this professional presentation. That was all I got. She looked into my eyes when we were talking. You know, she didn't turn away from me. She looked into my eyes, but when you looked into her eyes, you couldn't go through them. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what I had.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's like normally you look into someone's eyes and you meet in some way. You can go into their eyes, into them. But sometimes people will meet your gaze, but you realise you stop right at their eyes, that there's no way in. And I thought, oh God! And when the specialist, she was there first in this little room that they saw us in, and then he came bouncing in, very eminent man, you know, one of the top bods in the country. But again, it was all professionalism, professional performance. You know, professionalism is the performance, and it's not about you as a person, you see. So I came away and I said to Chrissy, it was a horrible vibe in that place. It was horrible because you didn't feel, you got two other human beings there, and yet you didn't feel that you could connect with either of them. All you got was their professionalism. And that's not the way we live. That's not the way we work. That's
exactly, it's funny, isn't it? That it is exactly what I'm saying. Because it's like, and actually you put it really well, because you're right. It's like you meet, they look at you. I mean, this guy sitting opposite me looked at me, but it's almost like I bounced off his eyes.
Yes, that's right, yes.
You know, there wasn't, and that, you're so right. I mean, there was just no way in where there's a place where you meet.
No, not at all. You see, now that's what my world is all about. That's called communication. When you begin, you see, that step where you go beyond the professionalism, where it's just a role, or it's just a skill that you're talking about, or it's just some practical, technical thing, you know, or functional thing, where the people don't really matter. I mean, some people have relationships like this. You have to see this. It's like a lot of people have these kind of relationships where there is no connection there, where it stays at a functional level, where you just talk about you talk about the world out there. And so you can come together and share about the world out there, how it looks, what's going on, what we need to have for dinner, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But there's no, where is the humanness? Where is humanity's involvement in that, you see? And it's like, when you don't have that, then out of that comes all the bad stuff, all the negative, all the self-interest and all the greed and all that kind of stuff comes out of that, because people cannot see you as a person, and one doesn't see them as a person. All one sees is problems and what we want out of the situation, and it's all about end gaming and all of that, and people don't come into it. I mean, it's not all like that, obviously, but a big part of it's like that. In a hospital, of all places, you would imagine that in that kind of situation, there will be some humanity. I mean, maybe they do their job. I'm sure they're brilliant at their job, and their heart's in the right place. But it's like they're not there with it. He stepped right back, the specialist. He was just performing. It was his presentation. And the same for her. She wasn't actually there in this arena called life, and that is life right there. You see, right there is their life, but they step back, and that would have been how it was in your situation, no doubt, you see. Now, I was under the impression that you didn't want to go down that road, because down that road is like where there's all the spin and the untruths, and that where one is there to do a job, to boost a company's profile or whatever that's going to enable them to have more business. It's going to enable, if it's about the shareholders, increasing their, whatever premiums. And there's no.
But the crazy thing is with this, sorry to interrupt you, it's not even that sort of setup. The crazy thing is with this, it's where arts and health meet.
Yeah.
It's a role of arts in health, not just mental health, but any health.
Yeah.
So actually, the objectives and the aims of their organisation are objectives and aims that you can relate to, and you think, yes, actually, I like that. That resounds with me. But the people who were there representing it, there isn't a. It's a mismatch.
That's right. Now, what you're seeing there, what you see there is that it's like there is a lack of congruence at that level, you see, with the people that are fronting. And this, of course, is where I came in, really, when I first began to wake up to life, and I met my mentor, and that whole organisation that he was the seeding for. This complete new concept of a community company. The community company was all about the people within it, and the flourishing and the unfolding of the people that then brought about the developing of the business or whatever other project or thing that you were actually involved with. But it was about the people. So I was under the impression that what you were involved with really was, what you wanted from your agency was something different.
Yeah,
because you've been involved with all that stuff where there's all the lies and the deceit and one spinning stuff that's really not true just to make a buck, Majority of people do not listen to what is within them, what feels right and good and proper. They override it all the time. There would have been a time when you would have overridden those feelings and gone for, like you say, the buck.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
So if you stay true to your agency and it is about the people, I can assure you that will flourish. Eventually that will really flourish. Because deep down inside that's what people want. It's just they don't know how to get there, you see. People don't understand how to get to the truth or how to come out of themselves and involve themselves with life. Those people that were sitting in that room weren't involving themselves with life. Right there in that moment was life. See, that was life. That was, for each of them, that was their life. A coming together of human beings. Okay, so it was a business situation, but it was a coming together of human beings.
Doesn't stop you being human, though, does it? Because it's a business.
Of course not. No, but in that situation,
that to be
a business situation, where were the human beings? They weren't there. They were sitting back behind their desks, behind their masks, behind their performance. If you stay true, if you make that like your mission statement,
and USP,
and you have that, and it's like, and that's at the heart of it, the truth and humanity, the human side of living. Then at the end of the day, that will shine through. But of course, in the early stages, it becomes disheartening because no one else around you is working like that. You see, majority of people.
It was gross. It was a gross situation.
Yes, the majority of people look for short-term gain. They grab at it, they take it as it's an account, so why not, sort of thing. And people are overriding what's inside them and those feelings all the time. I mean, I work with so many people sitting there and say, it was screaming at me, but I overrode it because it's not what I wanted.
But you see, I've done that for years, but I'm not going to do it anymore.
It's crazy. It's like, you know where it leads,